What's going on is Anton from antondaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Some people are looking at my beard and like, Ton, you letting all of the grays come in. I'm just chilling. Honestly, I'm just in a great phase. I said that I was going to mentally kind of take a break after the election to where I would just kind of enjoy life and not get caught up in all of the BS or whatever, so on and so forth. And so I just kind of do what I want when I want, and you see so much gray in my beard. And maybe I'll get it removed by the time that the new year comes or something like that, or maybe not. But I'm just really in a good mood and in a good space. I dropped a video last night that was breaking down some things that was happening with Afrotech, right? Now, Afrotech obviously is a conference. I mean, look at the name, Afrotech, all right? So apparently it's a thing, or it's becoming a bigger thing where people are attending. And I dropped a video last night because it's kind of a thing that's trending on social media about women and how they're trying to basically finesse men or get to these guys that's at this conference or whatever. And it's kind of like a revenge of the nerds is what they're describing it as. I think that that's so silly and dumb. Both parts, the revenge of the nerds part and how women are trying to finesse these guys. And the reason that I say that is because our cultural norms teach us, and it's so dumb that being smart is being lame until you become successful. And then people that can't match your success then like to label you or call you a lame, or they assume about your background because they can't match up to those standards, right? And one woman equated it to 21 Jump Street, where the lame then became, good, everything got flipped, and, the jock was in whatever, so on and so forth, right? And I don't think that that's necessarily true. I think that, you could be a sucker with money. You could be a sucker that is not a good person. You can also be a good person that wasn't necessarily celebrated, but you waited your time and you was patient. And then when you became successful, ultimately, you were right. The culture still stays the culture. And so you can be looked at a certain type of way, and it just never is going to translate with them. And largely that's because in Black culture in particular, especially when you're younger and when you're older, because I believe that these older people, these 30, these 40, these 50-year-olds, they never mature more than a high school mentality, right? Once you hit high school, for a lot of these people, that's their peak. That's where they stay as far as where they feel like their best times was. And then in addition to that, they mentally still stay in high school. You still see the same people as messy on Facebook. You still see the same people as being stupid and messy in these certain places. They never change their mentality or evolve, even with their voting patterns. It doesn't matter how poor they say or how poor they become. They still gonna continuously vote Democrat. I see it within Black culture. They had over 91% of Black women voted for Kamala Harris. Over 78, 79% of Black men voted for Kamala Harris. And our cultural norms are so toxic and it's so broken. And partially is because we're influenced by the wrong things and the wrong people. We don't even really have no heroes in our culture. And that's why they kept parading out there all of the people. I mean, listen, it worked. Kamala Harris's campaign, for all intents and purposes, worked on Black people. That's it. It didn't work on any other demographic. A lot of white women, obviously, but we know that they're rebelling against their households and their husbands and the culture itself because they so privileged and they so stupid that they never really realized that they had everything, and they decided to embrace feminism way before Black women did. But it worked. Meg Thee Stallion being paraded out there, Oprah being paid, Al Sharpton taking a bag. I seen a Black man, an older Black man, tried to argue me down inside of the airport about why Roland Martin is the man when it comes to politics. Then how come he couldn't influence what was going on with Black men when it came to the Black vote? Neither here nor there. The point that I'm making is that it worked. Everything that they tried to parade out there, the Kamala Harris campaign, to leverage celebrities and leverage these idiots to get you to vote a certain way, worked. It happened at over an 80-something% clip. Now you could say, well, some of it eroded and some people are leaving the plantation. Yeah, but far too slow. It's far too slow. It's far too slow how long it's taking people to get it together. And by the time that you get it together, it's usually too late. What happens is you don't even realize a lot of times until you in your 50s and your 60s that you've made the wrong decisions. And then it doesn't even matter anymore because nobody is checking for you when you don't have the ability to make the adjustment in your life because you feel like it's too late. And so you just stay in your ways and you stay around the same people and you embrace the same cultural norms. And then they call everybody else out of their name because they want to still feel comfortable with themselves. But again, our culture is trash. It didn't work on the majority of the rest of America. Nobody gave an F about whether or not Taylor Swift was endorsing Kamala Harris or not. Nobody cares. Nobody gave an F about whether or not Eva Longoria decides that she wants to leave the country or not. Nobody cares. Nobody cared about whether or not Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro and George Clooney or all of these people were backing Kamala Harris. Nobody cared. You know why? Because they were smart enough to think for themselves and realize that these people are just court jesters and they're not necessarily the ones that need to decide what the culture is going to be in the first place. And the smart celebrities stayed out of it because they understood that it's a business and it's not necessarily their place to speak on something that they don't know about because they're so far removed about what's going on in the culture. Think about this for a second. It's a reason why the things that are still thriving on TV is The View, even though Whoopi Goldberg and Sunny Holson are some of the most toxic women ever, and rap culture. It's a reason for that shit. Now, we both know that these are the dumbest people on the face of the earth, but we continue to follow them. Not all of us, obviously. And when I'm having this conversation, take your feelings out of it, put your big boy pants on and realize that everybody is not a monolith. But when we speak, we got to speak to the majority. And so when I say the culture, I'm talking about the things that we champion and celebrate the most. It may not be something that I embrace, but it's something that I see proliferating everywhere and people are embracing it. I see this dumb stuff. You know what else is really popping lately? They call it 304 Talk or 304 TikTok or something like that. And it's so dumb. It is the dumbest thing ever. And these people are emotionally invested in it. And so, we address it and we hold them accountable, but I can't believe that people in 2024 going into 2025 are still being finessed into believing and embracing dumbness, stuff that's so stupid. I was looking at people commenting on the video that I dropped last night. And do you know that there's people that still think that college is a scam? If you're not smart enough to go into a major and don't let it cost you so much money, but go into a major that's actually going to pay for your life and your lifestyle because you're investing your time and your resources ultimately to make more money, that you are your own best investment. If you go in and you get a liberal arts degree and then you come out with a bunch of student loan debt and you can't pay off your student loans and then you start to vote based off of how you feel about how college was affecting you and you partied the whole time or you dropped out, you can't say that college is a scam. You got to say that you're the scammer because you was looking to take advantage of something and then use the federal government and our tax dollars to be forgiven as a result of it. You're the scammer. You see what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that these institutions are not so liberal, and that's why we voted Trump in to come in and change the political landscape. And then he addressed specifically what he's going to start doing on these college campuses, and they can't indoctrinate our kids anymore. And they're going to be rated and incentivized based off of how they educate people more effectively. However, if you look at a lot of these places, it's unfortunate that we can't figure it out for ourselves. Listen, I don't care if a university is stupid. It doesn't mean that I have to enroll in that university. It's dumb. It's absolutely dumb. But again, I have a perspective. You got a perspective. I'm sure that our perspectives are going to clash at some point. And it doesn't mean that your opinion is not valid. And I'm always open to the possibility that I'm wrong, but I absolutely doubt it. The culture is still trash. We're still voting for the wrong thing. We're getting left behind. And we're still having these cities. Have you realized that even in places like California, Chicago, New York, even though they're going red, more people voted Republican in this election in these places than anywhere else than any other time in history. They're going red, but they're still very much blue. They're the ones that still carry Kamala Harris. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Also, Teach Hanley, 40% off your first order plus 20% off for life. And then get your tickets to come and see me December 14th in Detroit. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you later. Peace.